Good morning. In this video, I shall be discussing about the distribution, habit, morphology of the gametophytic plant body and vegetative reproduction of Anthoceros. This topic is included in the unit Bryophytes of the second semester. I am Shobha Rani, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Government First Grade College, Chikbalapur. Anthoceros is represented by about 200 species. All species are terrestrial and cosmopolitan in distribution, that is, found worldwide from tropical to Arctic climates. These species grow in very moist and shady places like slopes, rocks, or sides of the ditches. Some species are found growing on decaying wood. Unlike other bryophytes, Anthoceros is usually not well adapted to resist dry conditions. In India, Anthoceros is represented by about 25 species. Out of these species, Anthoceros himalayensis, Anthoceros erectus, and Anthoceros chembensis are commonly found growing in western Himalayan region at an altitude of 5,000 to 8,000 feet. These species are also found growing in Mussoorie, Kullu Manali, Kumaon, Chamba Valley, Punjab, Chennai, and in plains of South India. Anthoceros himalayensis and Anthoceros erectus has been reported from Simla, Nainital, and Dalhousie. Some other species of Anthoceros and their place of occurrences are Anthoceros dixti, Anthoceros syhadriensis from Pune and neighbouring hills, Anthoceros cripulus from Lucknow, Anthoceros assamicus from Assam, Anthoceros shivainandini from Kerala, etc. The species of Anthoceros may be perennial, as in Anthoceros himalayensis, or it may be annual, as in Anthoceros erectus. Now if we look into the systematic position of Anthoceros, Anthoceros belongs to the division Bryophyta, class Anthoceratopsida, order Anthoceratates, and family Anthocerataceae. Now let us look into the morphology or the external features of Anthoceros. The gametophytic plant body is thalloid, dorsiventral, prostrate, dark green in color. The thallus is lobed with a tendency towards dichotomous branching. Such branching results into an orbicular or semi-orbicular rosette-like appearance of the thallus. The thallus is bilobed in Anthoceros himalayensis or pinnately branched, as in Anthoceros halide, or spongy with large number of subspherical spongy bodies like gymme in Anthoceros gemmulosus, or raised on a thick vertical stalk-like structure as in Anthoceros erectus. Now if we look into the dorsal surface of the plant body, the dorsal surface of the thallus may be smooth in Anthoceros labies or velvety because of the presence of several lobed lamellae, as in Anthoceros cripulus, or rough with spines and ridges like in Anthoceros fusiformis. It is shining, thick in the middle and without a distinct midrib. Anthoceros has both monoecious and dioecious species. Male plants are smaller than the female in dioecious species. In monoecious species, the antheridia are produced earlier than archegonia. The sex organs, that is antheridia and archegonia, are sunken or embedded on the dorsal surface of the gametophyte. Now if we look into the ventral surface bears many unicellular smooth-walled rhizoids. Their main function is to anchor the thallus on the substratum and to absorb water and mineral nutrients from the soil. Tuberculated rhizoids, scales, or mucilaginous hairs are absent. Many small, opaque, rounded, thick-walled, dark bluish-green spots can be seen on the ventral surface. These are the mucilage cavities filled with nostoc colonies. In the month of September and October, the mature thalli have erect, elongated, and cylindrical sporangia. These are horn-like and arise in clusters. Each sporangium is surrounded by a sheath-like structure on its base. It is called involucre. Looking into the internal structure of the thallus of Anthoceros, the vertical transverse section shows a very simple structure. It lacks any zonation, unlike Marchantia. It is uniformly composed of thin-walled parenchymatous cells. The thickness of the middle region varies in different species. It is 6 to 8 cell thick, like in Anthoceros laevis, 8 to 10 cell thick in Anthoceros punctatus, and 30 to 40 cells thick in Anthoceros crupulus. The outermost layer is upper epidermis. The epidermal cells are regularly arranged, smaller in size, and have a large lens-shaped chloroplast. In Anthoceros halide, the epidermal layer is not at all distinguishable. Each cell of the thallus contains a single large discoid or oval-shaped chloroplast. Each chloroplast encloses a single large conspicuous body called pyrenoid. The presence of pyrenoid is a characteristic feature of class Anthoceratopsida. 25 to 30 disc to spindle-shaped bodies aggregate to form pyrenoid. The number of chloroplasts per cell also varies in different species. In Anthoceros personi, each cell has 2 chloroplasts, and in case of Anthoceros halide, the number may even be 4. The nucleus lies in close vicinity of the chloroplast near the pyrenoid. Sometimes the chloroplast enfolds. The air chambers and air pores are absent in Anthoceros. However, in few species, intercellular cavities are present on the lower surface of the thallus. These cavities are formed due to the breakdown of these cells, that is, it is cysogenously formed. The cavities are filled with mucilage and are called mucilage cavities. These cavities open on the ventral surface through stoma-like slits or pores called slime pores. Each slime pore has 2 guard cells with thin walls. The guard cells are non-functional and do not control the size of the pore. The pore remains completely open. These pores are formed by the partial separation of 2 adjacent cells. The slime pores represent the vestigial remnants of a previously existing aerating system. With the maturity of the thallus, the mucilage in the cavities dries out. It results in the formation of air-filled cavities. The blue-green algae, that is the nostoc, invades these air cavities through slime pore and form a colony in these cavities. Whether the presence of nostoc colonies in the thallus of Anthoceros is beneficial for the growth of the gametophyte is not definitely known. According to some reports, it is a symbiotic association. The thallus supplies carbohydrates to nostoc, and the nostoc in turn adds nitrate nutrients by fixing atmospheric nitrogen. The lowermost cell layers in lower epidermis. Some cells of lower epidermis extend to form the smooth-walled rhizoids. Now let us look into the reproduction in Anthoceros. Anthoceros reproduces by vegetative and sexual methods. Vegetative reproduction takes place by the following methods. That is, by death and decay of the older portion of the thallus or fragmentation, by formation of tubers, by formation of gymae, by persistent growing apices, or by apospory. Let us now look into the vegetative reproduction by death and decay of the older portion of the thallus or fragmentation. The older portion of the thallus starts rotting or disintegrates due to aging or drought. As it reaches up to the place of dichotomy, the lobes of the thallus gets separated. Thus, detached lobes develop into independent plants by apical growth. This method is not so common in Anthoceros as in liverworts. Looking into the vegetative reproduction by tubers, under unfavorable condition or prolonged drought, the marginal tissue of the thallus get thickened and form the perinating tubers. Their position varies in different species. They may develop behind the growing points like in Anthoceros laevis or along the margin of the thallus as in Anthoceros hulli and Anthoceros personi. In Anthoceros himalayensis, the tubers are stalked and develop along the margin of the ventral surface of the thallus. The tubers have outer 2 to 3 layers of corky hyaline, that is colorless cells, which enclose the tissue containing oil globules, starch grains, and aleurone granules. They are capable to pass on or withstand the unfavorable conditions. On the resumption of the favorable condition, tubers produce new thalli. The next method is the vegetative reproduction by gymae. In some species of Anthoceros like Anthoceros glandulosus and Anthoceros propagifilaris and Anthoceros formosae, many multicellular stalked structures develop along the margins of dorsal surface of the thallus. These structures are called gymae. When detached from the parent thallus, each gymae develop into a new plant body. Then, looking on to the vegetative reproduction by persistent apices, due to the prolonged dry summer or towards the end of the growing season, the whole thallus in some species of Anthoceros like Anthoceros personi, Anthoceros fusiformis, they dry and get destroyed except the growing points. Later, it grows deep into the soil and becomes thick under unfavorable conditions. It develops into new thallus. It is more a method of perennation than multiplication. And finally, vegetative reproduction by apospory. In Anthoceros, unspecialized cells of many parts of the sporogonium, for example, intercalary meristematic zone, subepidermal and sporogenous region of the capsule, form the gametophytic thallus. This phenomenon is called apospory. The thalli are diploid but normal in appearance, example as in Anthoceros laevis. Now let us look into the summary. Anthoceros occur in moist, shaded habitats in subtropical and warm temperate regions. The gametophyte is thalloid, dorsiventral, prostrate, dark green in color. The thallus is lobed and are often rosette-like. On the ventral surface, many smooth-walled rhizoids are present which help in fixation. Scales and tuberculate rhizoids are absent. Anthoceros has both monoecious and dioecious species. Male plants are smaller than the female in dioecious species. In monoecious species, the antheridia are produced earlier than archegonia. The sex organs, that is antheridia and archegonia, are sunken or embedded on the dorsal surface of the gametophyte. Numerous sporophytes may develop on the same gametophyte. Thallus internally show no zonation, that is, it is not differentiated into photosynthetic zone and storage zone. All cells are green and contain chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are associated with pyrenoids, which is unique feature of anthoceratates. There are no air chambers or pores. Schizogenous cavities filled with mucilage are present. These mucilage cavities often inhabited by nostoc cyanobacteria, which supply nitrogen through nitrogen fixation to their host plants. Anthoceros reproduces both sexually and vegetatively. The vegetative reproduction in Anthoceros is by one of the following methods. That is fragmentation, which occurs through the progressive death and decay of the older portion of the thallus, or by formation of tubers, or by formation of gymme, by persistent growing apices, or by apospory. This was briefly about the distribution, morphology and vegetative reproduction in Anthoceros. Thank you.